This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Serious collision. 4 victims are sent to hospital after a multi-vehicle crash on a busy highway in Sydney.
Yam relief. A Nova Scotia farmer travels to Jamaica to help his counterparts recover from Hurricane Melissa.
And arcades and algorithms will take you to Nerd Night, Halifax's favorite brainy bash.
Spring arrives on Friday with a pretty nice day overall, and then we're watching some snow changing to rain for Saturday. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. 4 people are in hospital with serious injuries after a multi-vehicle crash on a busy Cape Breton highway.
As the CBC's Kyle Moore reports, the collision happened on a stretch of road known for speeding.
Grand Lake Road is one of the busiest stretches of roadway in Nova Scotia, but on Thursday morning, traffic traveling the highway was at a standstill after a crash closed the road for several hours.
Well, unfortunately, 4 people are in critical or serious injuries. 1 has been airlifted, and right now the traffic safety unit has taken over the file and is continuing the investigation.
The multi-vehicle crash involved 4 vehicles. 3 of them sustained heavy damage. The call to emergency services came in just after 9 this morning. What caused the crash is still unclear.
Again, under investigation, don't really know determining factors right now. I know the roads were clear, so that'll be something that traffic safety unit will do their work and come back with some type of factors that continued or what the causes were for the investigation.
More than 30,000 vehicles use this highway daily. The CBRM councillor for the area says many are going too fast.
Well, I go out that stretch of roadway quite frequently, and there is a lot of speeding. You see the sign 70, people are going 90. You see 90, people are going 100 or 110.
Kim Shepard says there are many side streets off the highway that's also dangerous. 9 years ago, traffic lights and turning lanes at Kites Hill were installed. The speed limit was also reduced from 80 kilometers an hour to 70 in that area. Shepard says the lack of lines on the road is also a concern.
What I would love to see is the paint that we used to use years ago come back, but I know that that's been, changed over the years because of the chemicals in the paint, but we have lots of chemicals in the tar too, so it would be nice to get a paint back that would last from season to season.
By Thursday afternoon, the highway was reopened, but the cause of the crash remains part of a police investigation. Kyle Moore, CBC News, Sydney.
The mayor of Bridgewater says residents are expressing concern after a foiled school attack at a local high school.
This is obviously a very serious incident, very concerning. Everyone is reacting with the same level of extreme concern. But coming after Tumbler Ridge, it becomes that much more real. And so everyone's basically just questioning how we got to this point.
2 teens, one in Bridgewater and one in Manitoba, are accused of planning simultaneous attacks on their schools in an online chat room. Police arrested a 15-year-old girl in Bridgewater and a 14-year-old boy this week in Rivers, Manitoba. Police say the attacks were not believed to be imminent, but that some thought and planning went into the idea.
A progressive conservative MLA says both he and his wife are the victims of a blackmail attempt. In a statement, Hammonds Plains Lucasville MLA Rick Burns said criminals accessed his email and requested Bitcoin payment or threatened to release personal images. He refused to pay. The statement goes on to say they were then punished as personal images and videos of Burns and his wife were accessed and shared. It's unclear where the files were shared. Burns said both he and his wife's privacy were violated, which he called a grotesque crime. The RCMP is now investigating.
No trespassing signs have been posted along a popular waterfront trail in Dartmouth Cove. The property owner says the Halifax municipality has broken an agreement allowing public access to the trail. But some residents say that's not true and are not going anywhere. The CBC's Haley Ryan has more.
Multiple no trespassing signs went up along the waterfront trail in Dartmouth Cove Thursday morning. The landowner says anyone crossing their private property, including the trail, could be prosecuted.
We firmly believe that that is totally wrong. They do not have the right to do that. So we don't know what their end game is, just to rile people up maybe?
The property is owned by a numbered company associated with Atlantic Road Construction and Paving. The company says the Halifax municipality recently broke a 20-year agreement when they prevented them from working on their own land.
So HRM's actions broke the agreement. HRM are the only ones that can fix it. So we've been forced to take these steps.
Area Councillor Sam Austin says Halifax is in a legal dispute with the company over the access issue, which will be settled in court.
It's a spite move on their part. There's nothing that we've done that changes any sort of legal responsibilities or rights around the Harbour Trail. The easement that we have, HRM still considers it valid.
Wood says their company cannot carry the liability that comes with people accessing the trail without an agreement with the city.
This trail is used 365 days of the year, 24/7. People walk their dogs, people walk, roll, bike. They use it to get to both ferry terminals, they use it to get to school. They use it all the time. And that's why this is not a NIMBY issue. It is very much a total community issue.
The company did briefly block the trail 2 years ago. There was public backlash, and Build Nova Scotia ordered the blocks to be removed. CBC asked how the company will enforce their new signs.
Private property laws are what they are. You don't have, people hiring security to protect their private property elsewhere. So it's private property, and we expect HRM and residents to obey the law.
The company's lawyer sent letters to both Brogan and Austin specifically, saying they or anyone associated with them must stay off the trail and property.
It's not going to prevent me from walking on the trail. It's not restricting any of these people walking on the trail. So, no, I just think it's some kind of an odd publicity stunt.
The move is the latest in a long-running fight between Atlantic Road Construction and the city. The company hopes to dump pyritic slate and quarry rock into the cove to create land. The municipality passed a bylaw to limit infilling in the area, similar to the Northwest Arm, which the province has not completely adopted yet. Haley Ryan, CBC News, Dartmouth.
And with us now to talk weather is Ryan Snoddon.
Yes, and the last day of winter, pretty calm.
Yeah, pretty calm, and a pretty calm first day of spring as well. Beyond that, maybe not so much. But yeah, tomorrow we are looking at a nice one. Temperatures ranging between 3 and 5 degrees, rather, with the winds from the south, 20 gusting to 40 kilometers per hour. A little taste for sunshine. It's going to be, pretty pleasant. 11:46 a.m. as the equinox. And then we've got, this system passing to the north. A few flurries in New Brunswick, but as I said, quiet for Nova Scotia. Then Friday night into Saturday morning, we've got a little taste of snow. That looking set to bring a widespread trace to 5 centimeters, but a change over to some showers as we work our way through the morning and into the afternoon. That moves out, and then, this looming, which is a system coming in Sunday night into Monday, followed by another long duration event possible Sunday night into Monday. We'll talk about that coming up.
Oh, yeah, we'll want to know more. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A Nova Scotia farmer spent a week in Jamaica on a mission to help farmers whose crops were destroyed by Hurricane Melissa. The Valley-based man wanted to help some of the seasonal workers on his farm as they rebuild from damage back in their home country. Gareth Hampshire has the story.
These are the yam heads Nova Scotia farmer Josh Alton's helping plant in Jamaica following devastation to crops across the country. Tens of thousands of vegetable fields were destroyed when the hurricane hit, including yam crops, which left many farmers with nothing to harvest last fall, meaning they couldn't make any money.
They had nothing, and oftentimes that's all they have, these yam farmers. And so now they have to start over, and they don't have any income for this year. So I heard about that, and the Rotary was looking for a way to have an impact. They like to have impact in the community, and this was the way.
He knows some of the Jamaican farmers because they're seasonal workers on his farm, Taproot, in Fort Williams, which is a big reason he wanted to help. Kensley Richards has been travelling to work in Nova Scotia for about 18 years, and farmers in his area of Manchester in west central Jamaica have been hit especially hard.
Lost their house, lost their yams. They're living in their tool shed. Like, it's pretty desperate. They still don't have power.
Richard shared video of the damage to his region when we met him last fall, and the help means a lot to him.
You don't know what you do to we as a small farmer. That is the greatest gift ever he showed. Thanks for the program. Everybody happy.
Alton's trip with his daughter Lily was made possible with an $11,000 donation from Rotary clubs in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. That allowed them to buy about 900 kilos of yam heads in Jamaica, along with about $3,000 of fertilizer to bring to farmers who need the help.
You know, it's those small-scale farmers that really, they're 65 years old and all they have is their yam field and it's all lost. And all of a sudden, this white guy comes in and gives them a bag of yams and a fertilizer. They just smile.
In all, they helped about 20 farmers, giving them a chance to start over from a disaster that will take years to recover from. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Halifax.
The town of Amherst has officially pumped the brakes on transit plans. Council decided not to go forward with establishing a fixed bus system, citing startup costs and ongoing expenses. A feasibility study said it could cost up to $1.5 million to start the service and $300,000 to run it annually. The town is considering other capital projects, including recreation amenities and the expansion of the industrial park.
The Department of Fisheries and Oceans is finding more tropical fish in the waters off Nova Scotia. Last fall, DFO discovered a cornet fish. While it's not totally uncommon to see this warm water fish off our coast, they are becoming an ever more common phenomenon. Boris Worm, a professor at Dalhousie University, says fish like this are not a problem for local species yet, but there is a precedent of invasive fish like these elsewhere.
All of these species have needs and they eat things, and in the Mediterranean this has become a problem because these cornet fish, they're related to pipefishes and seahorses, and they're really good in finding their ways into dense seagrass meadows and eating a lot of the small fish species that are trying to recruit there.
Other tropical fish found during a recent expedition include the spot-fin butterfly fish. Well, holding a beer while listening to presentations about the Amazon rainforest and why people fall in love with AI. How does that sound?
Well, you get that at Nerd Night at Propeller Arcade in Halifax. Here's a look inside the city's favorite brainy bash, where the beer flows as freely as the facts. Have a look.
Nerd Night is a fun event for everyone in Halifax to come learn about random nerdy things, from academics that have done their career on the topic to someone who's just a hobbyist and is really passionate about a specific topic.
Well, we started Nerd Night back in 2019-2018 period, and the response from the community was pretty good. We've had a number of really amazing presentations on the Halifax stage over the years. We've had literally ones on rocket science. We had one looking at the history of romance novels that was very well thought out and surprisingly detailed. I think Nerd Night is an opportunity for the general public to meet some experts, to learn about interesting topics.
Well, it's accessible to everyone, so whatever level of education you have, anyone could come. And I think it just makes it a little more casual and social. Get to make friends here. Not that you can at school, but it's not a competitive environment. And it's meant for people to understand anyone's allowed to ask a question, no matter your level of education.
They've been really interesting, and then it brings out a really varied group of people for discussions afterwards and another beer and make friends and meet some people.
I'm a student also, so I love all kinds of lectures. I like the nerd aspect of it, and I like learning new things.
They definitely found a way to appeal to a wide variety of audiences, making it accessible to everybody. Very engaging talks. I definitely liked it here.
I think it's important to think about knowledge mobilization beyond sort of standard metrics. So we have published papers from this research, but this is a form of knowledge mobilization that brings the ideas out into the community, so it's important.
I have given presentations on this topic before, but I find that those presentations are often really targeted towards a niche of people I'm already reaching. And so what I think is really great about a Nerd Night type of situation is I'm able to access a different demographic than might usually attend presentations I give.
There's some water flowing after all that rain. Ryan is up next with the full weather forecast. Stay with us.
This weather update is brought to you in part by Atlantic Lottery's iGames. Play hundreds of games on the Atlantic Lottery app or at alc.ca.
All right, it might be one of those people keeping an eye on the calendar, waiting for the first day of spring, and it's upon us almost.
Yes, but then when you look a little further afield, it's more wintry, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking great, to be honest. From like Sunday through Tuesday is looking rather wintry. I gotta say. Now, we do get snow in spring.
Sure we do, yeah.
Especially early spring, but you kind of want, I don't know, just a little taste of the the warmth and the blooming and the such.
Absolutely.
But anyway, we'll get through this for sure. And I will say this, that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday that I just mentioned, still a lot of uncertainty.
Okay.
Things could change. Things could change. Have a look first at our spring equinox. And yes, for the kids at home, this is, of course, when the sun's rays are directly over the equator. Equinox, of course, Latin for equal nights. And generally speaking, we're at about 12 hours of daylight and nighttime. And there is a beautiful shot. Rockcliffe, Parsborough, fantastic evening there right now. We've had a few flurries kicking around today, but overall it's been pretty good. We've had temperatures right around the freezing mark, so a little shy for where we should be for this time of year. And then as we move into tomorrow, for the first day of spring, we will actually see temperatures on the rise. And although tomorrow is really looking like our mildest day and over the next handful for sure. There are the winds. They've been in from the east to southeast today as expected, around 20 kilometers per hour. There are those flurries that have been floating through generally central areas of the province for today. And then we are looking at this system that's passing to our north and west. A few flurries with that into New Brunswick, primarily, maybe into Cumberland County for you folks. This is the system that we're going to be watching for Saturday. In fact, Friday night into Saturday. And you can see temperatures looking kind of spring-like out west right now for sure. But old man winter lingers for a while in Canada, as we know that. And we'll be looking at, yes, some cooler temperatures on tap over the next few days. Tonight, temperatures will drop generally into the -4 to -8 range. The light winds tonight, and we'll see that chance for a flurry continuing over the next couple of hours. And then pretty quiet overall into tomorrow morning. Again, that cool start. Sun and cloud on tap will cloud up into the afternoon and see our temperatures rising at the same time. So we're going to be in the 3, 4, and 5 degree range. You folks in Cape Breton, the increase in clouds not until the later part of the day. So a sunnier sky for you folks on the island. Temperatures ranging between generally 1 and 4 degrees for tomorrow, perhaps a little bit cooler in places like Ingonish. As we look at the mainland, we're back into the 2 to 5 range for eastern parts of the mainland and into central as well. Coolest in those onshore southerly winds for tomorrow and into the Friday time period. We're looking at, for the west, temperatures 3 to 5 to even 6 degrees here. And again, I'm not sure I mentioned it, 11:46 a.m. For the equinox for tomorrow. Okay, Saturday. Note that we do eventually get to the 4 or 5 degree range for the mainland, 2 to 3 for Cape Breton. How do we get there? Well, with a little bit of snow first. This comes in Friday night and into Saturday. Note along the Atlantic coastline, I think we're going to be more like in that 0 to 2 range. And then 2 to 5 centimeters inland, higher terrain areas, Cobequid Pass, South Mountain. Those are the spots where we could get into that 5 to 10 centimeter range. You folks in the Cape Breton Highlands, a similar story, maybe even 15 there locally. This is how it plays out. So note the quick transition. By the time we wake up on Saturday morning, we're likely already have transitioned to rain in the southwest, transitioning through Saturday morning for central and then eastern, and then finally for you folks in Cape Breton in the afternoon. Then maybe a brief back to snow for Sunday evening, or Saturday evening, excuse me. There's Sunday morning, quiet. Next system rolls in. This looks set to arrive Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening, and a brief quick shot of snow on the leading edge of this system. This one, overall, nothing to write home about. Maybe 5 to as much as 10 centimeters over northern parts. Cape Breton could see some mixing with this. This is the system here, a secondary coastal low developing that the forecast models have been really struggling with. The latest thinking is a little stormier for sure. A messy old mix of ice pellets and snow and freezing rain, perhaps some rain along the Atlantic coastline as this all slides throughout the day on Monday night, and even into Tuesday. This would be a long duration event with winds as well. And again, a lot of uncertainty with this. The models have kind of just started to come in line with this unpretty picture that would extend, as I said, through Monday, then tapering off to flurries on Tuesday. Temperatures struggling into early next week.
Struggling indeed.
So it goes. Okay, yeah. Ryan, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you could soon be seeing some higher-rise buildings in Charlottetown.
Provincial officials have signed off on a plan to increase density, but City Council still has to rework a bylaw so developers know where to build. The CBC's Tony Davis explains.
Developers in Charlottetown may soon be able to build higher buildings in places they haven't before. The province has signed off on the city's official plan. Part of it is about increasing housing. The plan allows buildings up to 10 stories along high-traffic streets and intersections, like the corner of University and Belvedere.
The areas where you're close to transit, you're close to amenities. So those are the areas where the consultants and the staff worked with us on identifying the areas where we could potentially go with the higher density.
The city still needs to create a new bylaw that will dictate exactly what can be built where. The official plan also encourages people to build en-suites in their homes and allows for 4-unit buildings in some areas.
So the 4 units, as of right, as appropriate, will be defined far more detailed in our zoning and development bylaw. But what that really is identifying areas within the city where you could have additional units on a residential property. Not every property will fit 4 units.
The city got about 1,500 submissions on the plan. It was with the province since the summer waiting for sign-off. The Construction Association of PEI says it's looking forward to the final version.
Yeah, we've had great collaboration with the city over the last little bit, and we'll be connecting with the city departments in the very near future to have those discussions.
In the plan, there's also protection for the 500-lot area, a section of downtown with many heritage homes. Any proposed housing in this area would have to go through a design and review process and include storm surge protection. Yankov says public meetings on the zoning and development bylaw will happen soon. Tony Davis, CBC News, Charlottetown.
Coming up, the mayor of Amherst responds to the proposed tolls at the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick border. The New Brunswick government is planning to introduce a toll on non-resident vehicles near the Nova Scotia border in hopes of generating more than $10 million in revenue annually. Rob Small is the mayor of Amherst, joining us now. Mr. Mayor, I don't know too many people who like tolls, but how would you sum up, how people in your community are reacting to New Brunswick's plan?
So far, it's all negative from our part of the Cumberland County, and certainly I've heard from folks in the Tantramar region in New Brunswick, and they're not happy either.
Well, how much traffic, can you give people an idea just how much traffic you think there is to and from and in around the Amherst area to New Brunswick on a daily basis?
Oh, there's regular traffic. I mean, our two economies, we're small, but between here and Sackville, Memmer, and Cook, we have a lot of people travel back and forth every day on Amherstonians heading to New Brunswick for jobs over in hospitals and certainly into Memmer and Cook area and even into Moncton, of course. So it's pretty steady in terms of the flow. And I got to say that a lot of people are, they really rely on the medical services that we are able to access in New Brunswick because where we're located, it's quicker for us to go to Moncton, for example, than it is to go to Halifax.
Well, yeah, and so practically speaking, what kind of impact might it have on people? I mean, people will have to go if they have to work in New Brunswick, obviously, or if they go to the hospital, but do you anticipate there could be a slowdown in traffic or an impact on traffic and the amount of traffic in that way?
Well, I think so. I think what will happen is, times are tough, of course, as they are everywhere, but people will think twice before they hop in the car and pop across we call it the neck or the marsh, and, visit our friends and relatives in Sackville area and up in Moncton area. And it's a deterrent, really, for commerce. And, in the times when we hear about governments trying to get rid of barriers, here's a barrier going up. And so it's just not good news.
And we don't know what the toll amount would be. In fact, we can't be 100% sure it's going ahead, but the government has declared its interest in doing this. Some talk of it being about $4 or so. Is there any kind of lobby against this?
Well, I think that there's a general feeling around that there's going to be obviously some letters written and that sort of thing. We'll be meeting as a council for the town of Amherst to decide what action we want to take in terms of, whatever letter or lobbying or advocating for it. That will be one of the steps that we take. I know that in speaking with the mayor of Tantramar, they're certainly concerned as well, and we'll be advocating for the same.
We do have tolls for out-of-province vehicle on the Cobequid Pass here in Nova Scotia. Yes. You were talking about freedom of trade and so on. Should governments generally take a different approach and drop any and all tolls for everyone?
It depends on the circumstances, quite frankly. What I see about the Cobequid Pass is they built a road because of the dangers associated with driving through the Folly Mountain area of Nova Scotia. It's still available for people to drive through if they want to take a scenic drive, but the truck route through the Cobequid Pass has certainly made it easier, and that toll covers the cost of that road. It was a new road. And now that we're not being taxed as Nova Scotians to actually use that highway if you're just a passenger vehicle, it took a long time for that toll to come off, even for Nova Scotians. So I think there is a place for tolls for the right reasons.
I guess just by comparison there, in your neck of the woods, are there any back roads that people can use to avoid the toll? I'm thinking not.
Well, there's no roads that you would want to take your vehicle on that if you care about your vehicle. I mean, there are little lanes and old roads that are, not meant for traffic.
And so, do you hold any hope that this might be dead in its tracks here if there's enough political opposition to it?
Only if there is enough political opposition, to be frank. There is a problem in both the province of Nova Scotia and the province of New Brunswick when it comes to the debt load that they're carrying. And I know they have to address that because the future depends on them addressing it. And they do have to find other ways of of either cutting services, increasing taxes, or doing things like toll roads. But I'm hopeful that maybe we can change this particular one.
Well, we'll have to wait to see what does happen down the road. Mayor Small, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Coming up, Donald Trump justifies additional funding requests as the Iran war as pushback grows.
And as energy prices rapidly rise, EU leaders are trying to find solutions to ease the burden on consumers. Welcome back. Iran has unleashed a series of attacks on energy facilities across the Persian Gulf. It says the barrage was in retaliation for the recent Israeli strike on one of its largest gas fields.
And it has sent oil prices soaring, trading briefly above $119 US a barrel, underscoring Iran's continued ability to exact a heavy price for being attacked by the US and Israel. The CBC's Katie Simpson reports from Doha.
Iran is ratcheting up its attacks, targeting energy infrastructure sites all over the Gulf region, taking aim at Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar. It is Qatar that has suffered the most extensive damage so far. Missiles were intercepted, but the debris still struck a key LNG production facility, causing huge fires and massive damage. The CEO of Qatar Energy says about $20 billion worth of production has been wiped out, and that contracts with European and Asian countries, they are going to have to be canceled. Qatar's prime minister is demanding an end to the war, calling these Iranian strikes a very dangerous escalation. While the Saudi foreign minister, he delivered a blunt warning to the Iranian regime.
We have reserved the right to take military actions if deemed necessary. If the time comes, the leadership of the kingdom will take the necessary decision.
Iran has said it was responding to an Israeli strike on the South Pars gas field. It is a really important energy source for domestic power in Iran. And immediately in the aftermath, it vowed to seek revenge. All of this is leading to new concern that this conflict could spiral into an even broader war. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Doha.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he has told Israel to not repeat its strikes on Iran's energy facilities. A prolonged war and spike in global oil prices could cost him politically at home. This as the Pentagon seeks additional $200 billion U.S. dollars in funding for the war, with opposition brewing from both Democrats and Republicans. The CBC's Katie Nicholson reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump was quick to justify why the U.S. military needs an additional $200 billion from Congress, and quick to say it isn't all to fund his war with Iran.
Well, we're asking for a lot of reasons beyond even what we're talking about in Iran. This is a very volatile world. We want to have vast amounts of ammunition, which we have right now. We have a lot of ammunition, but it was taken down by giving so much to Ukraine. They gave so much.
The ask hasn't been formally brought to Capitol Hill, but it's already getting pushback from Democrats who aren't buying what the president is saying.
A $200 billion supplemental for a war that has never been approved by Congress, with lowball estimates on the current costs to Americans and the potential for misinterpreting or spinning it as approval of the war, seems to me a non-starter.
And some moderate Republicans are also wary.
The people in Alaska are asking me, how long is this going on? Are there going to be boots on the ground? How much is this going to cost before I can do my Article 1 responsibility in terms of helping to fund a war effort? I want to know some of the answers to the questions that Alaskans are asking me.
There was also a diplomatically awkward moment when reporters asked Trump why he didn't give allies a heads up before starting strikes on Iran. With the Japanese prime minister sitting next to him, he invoked Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941.
One thing you don't want to signal too much, you know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? You know, he's asking me, no, you believe in surprise, I think much more so than us.
Despite that moment, the Japanese were scheduled to discuss potentially assisting the U.S. with some minesweepers, which could be used in the Strait of Hormuz. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
Canada has signed a joint statement with several European nations calling on Iran to stop targeting oil facilities in the Gulf and to end its stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz. That as EU leaders gather in Brussels to discuss the war and its growing economic impact. Anna Cunningham has the details from London.
There is a nervousness spreading across Europe as energy prices rise sharply. EU leaders are in Brussels meeting for a two-day summit, fully aware of the urgency to find a joint approach to ease the impact on consumers. Some countries are already taking action. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni announcing late Wednesday a package of emergency measures to stop price increases, including an immediate reduction at the pumps for motorists. Germany, too, is legislating to cap gas prices, permitting only one rise daily at fuel stations. The UK and Japan have joined France, Germany, Italy and the Netherlands, issuing a joint statement about the Strait of Hormuz. It calls on Iran to cease immediately its threats, including the laying of mines, drone and missile attacks and other attempts to block the strait. This joint statement says they express their readiness to contribute to appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the strait, adding they will take other steps to stabilise energy markets, including working with certain producing nations to increase output and support the nations most affected. European leaders have indicated they are in agreement that the war on Iran is one they are reluctant to join. The Dutch Prime Minister says there is a willingness to help in the Strait of Hormuz, but not until there is a de-escalation in this conflict.
Well, energy prices is a top priority. It was already, before the war in the Middle East, the absolute top priority of my agenda and I think the European agenda, and this has become all the more present, urgent after the events that we have been witnessing in the Middle East. For now, I can tell you that Belgium has no intentions to get implicated in the war on Iran. None whatsoever.
The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has also called for all sides to stop this war, saying it's time for diplomacy to prevail. Anna Cunningham, CBC News, London.
The Supreme Court heard a landmark privacy law case on Thursday. It centered on Facebook's role in a data sharing scandal and the harvesting of personal information from users. Olivia Stefanovic has more on this major test of digital privacy regulations.
At the center of Facebook's appeal before Canada's High Court, the question: did the social media company obtain meaningful consent from users before collecting, using, and disclosing that personal information with third-party apps?
What Facebook needs to get consent for is the disclosure by what I'll call an installing user to an app. What the app does, that's not Facebook's business.
But the Privacy Commissioner of Canada says it is, and alleges the tech giant didn't do enough to protect its users' personal data.
This is about making sure that people can engage in social media in a way in which they have control.
The case stems from a major data breach in the 2010s, known as the Cambridge Analytica scandal.
And its alleged ties to Cambridge Analytica.
The ongoing drama around Facebook.
The British political consulting firm improperly harvested personal data from approximately 87 million Facebook users for political advertising without their consent.
This has broad implications well even beyond the technology space, AI and social media and other things like that. We really need a good handle on it.
This privacy lawyer says the outcome could reshape how any company obtains consent in Canada.
This has implications, for example, for the App Store. What responsibility does Apple have to supervise every one of the thousands, if not millions, of apps on its platform?
It could also prompt legislative changes that others say are long overdue.
It is crazy that a case that's more than a decade in the making, that's been addressed by so many other countries, still lingers in Canada with yet more legal appeals. We need certainty in Canadian privacy law. We need penalties in Canadian privacy law.
Privacy law experts say the federal government doesn't need to wait for a ruling from the top bench to make those legislative changes. After all, it could take at least several more months before a judgment is issued. The Supreme Court of Canada reserved its decision following a one-day hearing. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
24 Sussex Drive has been vacant for more than a decade since it was first considered uninhabitable. Since then, 2 consecutive prime ministers have lived at Rideau Cottage. But according to an internal memo obtained by CBC News, that residence is not up to scratch either. Ashley Burke has more.
For more than a decade, Canadian prime ministers have called Rideau Cottage home and welcomed world leaders inside. CBC News has now obtained a government memo calling the house inadequate for a prime minister's needs.
It was set to be a temporary solution, and now it's creating major security issues.
The memo sent to Canada's top public servant, Michael Sabia, this past summer says the house is small, doesn't have enough functional space, and, quote, Rideau Cottage's proximity to the Governor General's residence and the surrounding residential neighborhood increases security risk.
There needs to be a setback distance from roads for the official residence.
Successive governments let the Prime Minister's official residence at 24 Sussex Drive deteriorate to the point where it had to be gutted in recent years to strip out mold, asbestos, and dead rodents.
I think it's a little embarrassing for Canada, frankly, that we don't have an official residence for our Prime Minister.
Now a source tells CBC News the Carney government wants to make a decision about the fate of 24 Sussex in the coming months.
There is an urgency. Somebody needs to make a decision.
In one of his final acts in power, Justin Trudeau set a January deadline for the government to create an advisory panel made up of former prime ministers to recommend solutions. The government won't say if that's happening, but the RCMP says its experts have looked at the options under consideration and recommended how to boost security.
Surveillance systems, counter-drone mechanisms, all those pieces are advice that we would provide.
Last year, CBC reported the government was considering 3 options: building a new or heavily renovated complex at 24 Sussex, upgrading Rideau Cottage, or building elsewhere. The government will only say that work is ongoing and no final decisions have been made. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, it's a crackdown that some consumers say is too little too late. The federal government has fined 2 major grocery store chains for labeling foreign-made products as Canadian. It's a practice known as maple washing. Sophia Harris now on the new efforts to stop it.
Brenda Nichols has been committed to the Buy Canadian movement, spurred by Donald Trump's tariffs. So she's happy to see the Canadian Food Inspection Agency finally start to dole out fines to grocers that mislabel imported food as Canadian.
They should have done it from the very first, and then maybe now we wouldn't be having these continual problems almost a year later.
Last year, CBC News uncovered more than a dozen cases of so-called maple washing, like raw almonds branded as made in Canada.
We don't grow almonds in this country.
At the time, the CFIA issued no fines. But now the agency is cracking down, hitting 2 Loblaw-owned grocery stores in Toronto, each with a $10,000 fine. A Fortino's, which displayed French-made cheese spread with a maple leaf symbol, and a Superstore, which displayed American-made broccoli slaw with a maple leaf and a Product of Canada declaration.
I think that CFIA is handing out fines now because it's still front of mind. People like you are asking questions. Consumers are bringing it up. So it's in the news.
CBC News has also learned the CFIA is investigating Sobeys head office for similar mislabeling problems in store. Welcome news for this Sobeys shopper.
I think it's really important, particularly for grocery stores, not to be misleading.
Sobeys and Loblaw told CBC News they strive for accurate country of origin labeling, but when dealing with mass inventory, mistakes can happen. Still, many shoppers feel they should pay a higher price for those mistakes.
What do you think about a $10,000 fine for a big company like Loblaw?
I think it should be $100,000. $10,000 is not very much for a multi-million-dollar company.
CFIA fines max out at $15,000. However, Ottawa is reviewing that limit to ensure that companies don't treat fines as simply the cost of doing business. Sophia Harris, CBC News, Vancouver.
This weather update is brought to you in part by Atlantic Lottery's iGames. Play hundreds of games on the Atlantic Lottery app or at alc.ca.
Yeah, spring's tomorrow. Looking for signs of spring I find every day now.
Now, maybe in your mailbox?
Yes. This is kind of a shoulder season picture.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see some signs of spring here, but winter's still kind of holding on, so perhaps quite fitting on the eve of spring. And this is Kinsick Lake and Fall River. And have a look at this. So that ice has clearly seen some melting and then some refreezing there with perhaps some snow on top to make those really interesting shapes on top.
Transition picture, isn't it?
It certainly is. A beautiful sunshine there. We'll always love to see that in spring. And thank you so much to Paul for sharing this. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. As we look at the forecast moving forward, a few flurries this evening. Overall, it is a pretty quiet night. Temperatures dropping into the -4 to -8 range to start the day on Friday. We'll see some sunshine, especially in the morning. The increasing clouds, though, into the afternoon. Could see a few flakes mixed with a shower. Very slight risk along the Annapolis Valley region and into Cumberland County, just on the southern edge, of what's going to be moving through New Brunswick tomorrow. Temperatures tomorrow ranging between 3 and 5 with those southerly winds. Now, this is where the things turn a little unsettled. There's the snow coming in Friday night into Saturday. That looks like a 2 to 5 centimeter shot for inland areas, even less along the Atlantic coastline. And then that next system building in. So the first wave coming in Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. Then that kind of pushes out Monday morning. Followed up, though, by that secondary low developing, which could be a lot messier throughout the day on Monday and into Monday night, lingering into early Tuesday.
Keeping an eye on that. Thanks, Ryan. Well, an incredible annual event has left bird watchers in northwestern India tickled pink. Thousands of migratory flamingos arrived on India's Summer Lake, casting a pink glow over the water and the region.
The shallow saline lake provides the perfect habitat for the unique birds, filled with food sources like algae and small crustaceans.
Flamingos stop here every year as they travel from tropical South Asia to the central and northern part of the continent.
And so many of them, too.
Yeah.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.